Hello friends from Lance, Sunday, June 28th, the day before Brazil versus Japan, a decisive match in the second round of the World Cup. We're standing here in front of the Dynamo Houston Stadium.
And the Houston Dash, which is the women's team, also plays here in the city, right?
Yesterday I said it was Dynamo Houston, Dynamo, but no, the pronunciation is Dynamo. We're in the United States, so it's Dynamo Houston. The Brazilian national team actually is holding their pre-match training here. Carlinho de Calantirote will decide the lineup for tomorrow's game. There shouldn't be any changes, right?
No, I don't think so. I believe he'll repeat the team that beat Scotland 3-0 unless something unexpected happens with the player or some situation comes up during today's training. But it's unlikely. The lineup will probably be Alisson, Danilo, Gabriel Magalhães, Marquinhos and Gabriel Magalhães, Douglas Santos, Casemiro, Bruno Guimarães, and Lucas Paquetá, Vini Júnior, Ryan, and Mateus Cunha.
Magalhães, Júnior, Cunha. Alisson, Danilo, Magalhães, Júnior, Ryan.
Remember that Vinícius Júnior has 4 goals in the World Cup. He's our main player, chosen as man of the match in all 3 games. So our biggest technical expectation is Vinícius Júnior in this match, right?
Yeah, today's training was a bit different from the ones we've been following since the start of Brazil's preparation because there were a lot of Japanese journalists present. You could say that between Brazilians and Japanese, there were at least 200 journalists here at the stadium. And just a reminder, only accredited press is allowed, even at the training center in Morristown. If you're from the press but not accredited for the World Cup, you don't have access. Here, it's only accredited press, so there are a lot of people. There's a lot of anticipation among the Japanese, and they're feeling somewhat confident about facing Brazil.
Right? Yeah, we tried to talk to some of them, but many can't speak because of their company rules, but Dusan managed to talk to him, over there. His statement, some of his remarks were even quite interesting, right? So, the main point, what he said, he says that Brazil is at a high level, but that Japan's team has grown a lot recently, especially in this World Cup cycle, so he thinks the match will be evenly balanced. Now, regarding the standout player from Brazil, Dozan, who he mentioned, surprised everyone here when we were chatting before posting the training report on the website. Yeah, when Dusan told me the name he picked as the standout, I was actually surprised. I do think he really is a standout, okay? He's doing really well in the World Cup, but who is it, Dusan?
Yeah, the reporter, the journalist from DAZN in Japan, he said that for him, the main player from Brazil is the goalkeeper Alisson. And then I asked why Alisson, and he said because Japan's main strength is in their attack, and he said that if Alisson is in great form, in a great moment, it will be very hard for Japan to advance. His personal opinion is that Brazil is still among the top teams in the world, but he thinks Japan has improved a lot. So the difference between Brazil and Japan today isn't that big anymore. Anyway, we'll find out tomorrow. It's a very hot day here in Houston as usual. We're getting close to game time, but during the game it won't be this hot.
Right? The stadium is air conditioned, which is important. It's a closed stadium and the game is at noon local time, 2 p.m. Brazil time. But the stadium is fully air conditioned. It'll be around 21 or 22 degrees during the game, so everyone will be nice and cool. The practice is actually happening at the same time as the match, but they're dealing with this sun here, which is really hot today in Houston. And it's worth remembering that the Japanese are also excited because in the last friendly against the Brazilian team, Japan won 3-2, right? It was a friendly match where Brazil did a lot of testing, especially in the defensive sector. It's not the same defense that will play in tomorrow's match here in Houston. At the time, on that occasion, the goalkeeper was Hugo Souza, the center-back pair was Beraldo and Fabricio Bruno, the left back was Carlos Augusto, and the right back was Paulo Henrique from Vasco. But it's good.
Indeed, that's true.
And then it's a completely different team. But there's a coincidence. The midfield is the same as the one that's going to play here, but in a different situation. They didn't play in the same style as they're playing here. It was Paquetá, Bruno Guimarães, and Casemiro. But here, Brazil has a completely different formation dynamic. Ancelotti has a different mindset for formation. At that time, it was the beginning of the 4-2-4, which he had been working on, and it changed completely during the preparation period for the World Cup and upon arriving here. So I think it's going to be a good match. I've already covered some games between Brazil and Japan, friendlies back then. I even saw Neymar score the 4 goals he did against Japan in the friendly in Singapore. Yes, Singapore. I think Brazil will have, if Brazil plays under normal conditions, I think Brazil will hardly lose this game, okay? Only if it's one of those games where the Japanese goalkeeper saves everything, or Brazil has a deflected ball like Morocco's first goal when Gabriel Magalhaes made that mistake. I think then Japan has some chance. I think it's unlikely unless Brazil slips up, and that's what I was talking about with Duzan earlier. Ancelotti is a veteran of knockout matches. He's used to this Champions League. He's played so many knockout games. Yeah, he's used to this kind of game. He's used to building teams for this kind of match. He's used to that idea of suffering little without the ball and then going on the counter attack and finishing it. Vinny Júnior did that a lot, especially in Real Madrid's last Champions League title. So I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch. If Japan goes on the attack, it's going to be good for us. If Japan stays back, we're going to play that same game we played against Scotland, trying to break through the Japanese defensive barrier, but I think it's going to be a fun game to watch.
Once again, the expectation is that there will be a large majority of Brazilians in the stands. The reception yesterday was huge. Brazilians were really excited. There's a pretty big Brazilian community here in Rio, and they're really pumped up. We saw some people here coming around the stadium thinking that maybe they could see the players, but no. Training, especially by FIFA, on the eve of the game, everything is much more closed off, but in the stadium, with a capacity for more than 68,000 fans, the stadium hosts Anaka World Rodeo Training. Also,
he said that in a report yesterday.
There's a report on the Lance website. It's a very beautiful place. Tomorrow at noon local time, 2 p.m. Brasilia time, the knockout stage begins. Brazil needs to win to advance. We follow everything and you know it.
But I still have more details to talk about here, which I thought were really cool. Dozan, who welcomed the delegation here yesterday, I did it, back in Miami. Every day, I think the presence of fans and the interaction between players and the national team is increasing. I think that's really cool. There, they handed out a little wristband with various sayings. I don't know if they did it this month. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. The same situation here, but really cool. This interaction between players and fans is happening, and it's growing during the World Cup. So that's it. All the details here from the big game between Brazil and Japan. This Monday, you can see it here on Lance. Social media, on the Lance website, lance.com.br, and on YouTube as well. You can view all updates and information from everyone traveling in the United States.
Thanks.